And we're ready to go live. Hey, this is Jim at Broadfield Distributing. Back at you again this week with another 15-minute dealer webinar. And today we have a special guest joining us, Alex Leibovich from Epiphan.
Thanks, Jim.
Welcome, Alex.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Great to be here as always, seeing you, the team, and appreciate the opportunity to talk about the expanding Pearl family from Epiphan.
Absolutely. So today is also the NFL draft. So I guess it's safe to say that in the first round, Broadfield selects Alex from Epiphan, and he's here to talk to us today about the Pearl Mini.
It's all about the NHL playoffs, Jim. We know that. Come on.
The NHL playoffs in New York is a curse word this year, but
and in LA too, since I'm from Northern California, but that's okay.
Exactly. So the exciting thing about the Pearl Mini is Epiphan has taken their Pearl 2 live production system, put it into a smaller housing at a more affordable price to get more people into live production and streaming. The Pearl Mini is going to be introduced in about a month at $34.95, and I'm going to ask Alex to kind of introduce the product to us now.
Great. Thanks, Jim. As you know, the Pearl family has been around for about 4 years. We started with the original Pearl. We migrated to Pearl 2, which is available in base models as well as 4K upgrades. Great integrated switching, mixing, recording, streaming appliance that served a lot of different markets. But there was a bit of a gap. A slightly lower end. We kept hearing from a lot of clients and customers and dealers that there's an opportunity for a Pearl-type solution, but with maybe a bit fewer features and slightly lower cost.
Absolutely.
So here we are with Pearl Mini. So the whole idea behind Pearl Mini, in comparison to a Pearl 2, for those that are familiar, and even those who are not, we'll talk through it. Pearl Mini has 3 physical inputs versus up to 6. Well, you have even more than 6 inputs on the Pearl 2 if you have IP cameras, USB cameras. Pearl Mini has 3 physical inputs, and an original introduction based on the processor capability, we're recommending choosing 2.
Right. So you have 2 HDMI and 1 SDI.
Exactly.
And again, because of processor limitations, I can use any combination of 2 of those.
Exactly. And again, if you only need to create 2 encodes, you can do that. You can do up to 2 encodes with this unit. Again, vis-a-vis a Pearl 2, for those that are not familiar, you can do 6 HD encodes or 1 4K. Again, different applications, higher end versus lower end. In many markets, what we expect, in the subset of the market, Pearl 2 is the right answer, but a broader market, a much larger number of rooms and auditoriums could use a more a simplified solution where 2 inputs and 2 encodes is plenty.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. And I think what's great about it from a dealer perspective is now Epiphan is giving you a good, better, best to walk your prospects up the ladder, with a good solution being the Pearl Mini, a better solution being the Pearl 2, and then the best would be adding the 4K option to the Pearl 2 live production systems.
And the beauty of the family of the products, for those that are familiar with the Pearl family, the way you configure the unit, the web UIs are exactly the same.
Which is great.
It's right. So whether you're configuring a Pearl 2, a Pearl Mini, your web UIs look identical.
So one of the biggest things that stood out for me immediately with the Pearl Mini is that even though it's a smaller, more compact unit, it has a much larger screen built into it.
And
Giving you those control capabilities right here, again, kind of simplifying the product to go after the lower end of the marketplace.
Exactly. And the thought process is that in many cases, the Pearl 2 quite often will be even purchased in the rack mount, but it will be in the wiring closet, in the closet somewhere away, whereas a Pearl Mini could actually be on a table or on the podium in the room, and thus the switching and its channel selection and the monitoring is done from a larger screen, much easier for the user to do.
Yeah, that's a 7-inch touchscreen built right onto the top of the unit itself.
And we'll touch on that a little bit further, but if you see on the slide here also, one of the things we've added, particularly in a live event, when you want to record something and hand it off to your client, it now comes with removable storage. Rather than recording onto the unit and then having to offload, you're now recording right into an SD card. Now, as with the Pearl 2, you can still program the unit to offload to a network drive. You can offload to USB drive if you need to, or you can just take the SD card and hand it to your client.
And that's exactly what I was going to mention. It does still have the USB 3 connectivity, so you can always connect a hard drive to it, as well as these SD cards for the recorded and offload capability. So the Pearl Mini, we talked about the the two HDMI inputs and the one SDI input.
Exactly.
Using any combination of those. So those are going to give you your video inputs to bring that into any prospect, any client, regardless of what cameras they're using.
Exactly.
And then output, we have HDMI output as well?
Exactly. Again, similarly as we've done on the Pro 2, you have an HDMI out, which you can configure to for monitoring or displaying locally an encoder or program that you've created, or to have one of your inputs come right back out through there. If you're doing a lecture and you have a slide, rather than have a splitter to a projector, you can come out of this HDMI and display the slides locally.
Which is a great feature, especially as you mentioned, in an education market where it's a lecture hall or something like that, they always want that HDMI pass-through, whether they're feed into a conference monitor or to a projection system or anything else.
Or in a house of worship where they wanted to display something locally.
Go into the iMac or something else like that, exactly. And then from an audio level, the Pearl Mini has both line and mic level audio?
Right, so it's exactly, if you see we've combined the XLR and TRS inputs, and the idea is on the Mini, exactly what you said, we anticipate some of the folks are just going to be coming straight from a mic, so we've added phantom power. So the expectation is not everybody's coming in from a mixer. And again, or you have a consumer type of inputs as well, for options for kind of a lower end implementations.
And it's funny too, because as a video reseller or video distributor, we talk all the times about the importance of audio in a production, and this audio capability on a live production switcher at this price point is really unique to the Pearl Mini.
Well, we believe so.
So yeah, it's a great selling advantage and a great selling feature of the product itself. So you touched on it a little bit before with the storage capability. It's important to note that you just can't take any SD card that's lying around the office, pop it in, and expect professional results.
Exactly, and I'm sure the Pro in itself is not unique. Most of the products where the recording has to be done onto an SD card at the professional level, the card has to be a higher quality, higher speed, higher grade. We're testing. We're going to recommend some cards, as you see here. We already started the process, and we'll go all the way up to 512 gig. So the recording capacity is going to be exactly the same as the built-in drive on the Pro 2.
And the SanDisk Stream and the SanDisk Stream Pro, these are standard solutions that all of our dealers are familiar with and are using today. No surprise to anybody. SanDisk is really making some of that best removable storage in the industry today with their HGST and WD affiliations and everything else. Okay, some of the big features of the Pearl Mini is that you're getting true HD video support at 1920 by 1080, right? And you allow individuals to stream to pretty much any CDN?
Absolutely. Again, as with the Pro 2, you bring in your HD, you create your encoder, and you can send, obviously you can record that encoder and or at the same time stream it to multiple destinations of your choice. As long as your encoding parameters are the same, you can add multiple destinations for the same stream. So if you have two streams, one can go to destinations ABC and the second one is doing something completely different. So that continues to be the case with the Pro family.
And that's a question that comes up all the time too. So I can stream through RTMP to Facebook Live.
Yes.
But at the same time, set up a simultaneous feed, going to either YouTube or Vimeo or somewhere else.
Yeah, the CDN of your choice. Here's a list we've tested on multiples, but there's many others. Particular CDNs that I know, for example, you work very closely with folks at StreamMonkey.
Absolutely.
The CDNs list is long. We generate a standard RTMP signal, so any of them that accept a standard RTMP signal.
Right. So with that RTMP protocol, it would be impossible to list all the logos on this slide of everyone that it works with. RTMP is the industry standard as far as the streaming goes, and it also prevents any of that API funkiness that you might get with Facebook Live or with going to multiple CDNs. It's a standard RTMP setup.
Exactly.
Which is great. Tell us a little bit about the layout designer within the Pro Mini, and I know the Pro 2 utilizes that layout designer, and it's kind of the features and capability of what makes Epiphan special.
Right. So, as you know, the Pro family, it is a mixer. It is not just a recorder and an encoder. When you create these encodes, when you create these channels, you can mix your video inputs. And just like we did with the Pro 2, we did the same thing with the Pro Mini. Your inputs here, if you could see on the screen, we're doing a picture-in-picture. You have a beautiful background of my laptop here with no image on it, and then you put the picture-in-picture. I've cropped the image of a laptop, actually. You can also select which audio source you put into each layout. And as before, it is a switcher as well, so I can do on-the-fly switching within the unit, just like we did with the original Pro and with the Pro 2.
And I'm going to preface this part by saying Alex literally showed up an hour ago where we set this unit up and running with one source coming in from this camera on the table here, another source coming in from the HDMI on the laptop. So it really is that quick and easy to set up and get up and running. This unit is the pre-production roll where these are expected to ship the first week of June. But again, super simple, super easy to get up and running. Right. Had we had more time, we'd be serving the whole webinar from the Pro Mini unit itself today.
So, if I can do a quick pitch, for those of you who want to see a stream from a Pro at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, go to Live at Epiphan on the Epiphan Facebook or YouTube channels. And we do our live shows every Thursday, and they'll be brought to you by Pros.
Absolutely, and I will show everyone. If you just go to the Epiphan website, right at the bottom of every page is a direct link to the YouTube channel. So I can go directly to Epiphan's YouTube channel, Facebook, or anywhere, and at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today, there will be a more in-depth webinar on the Pro Mini itself.
On different things. Our guys every week get very creative about things, about the do's and don'ts of streaming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they are definitely entertaining and definitely pitched for everyone, so you can share those links and that channel with your customers and prospects as well. So we talked a little bit about the front screen and the web UI, okay? And again, this web UI can be used on any control interface, whether it's a Microsoft Surface, laptop, computer system.
Well, and there's web UI we talked about very exactly the same as on the Pro 2, and then the Epiphan Live for monitoring and switching, as Jim just said, from a tablet that's on the network, from a computer that's in the network, for monitoring your channels, for monitoring your inputs, for switching between the layouts within your channel.
Perfect. So the Pro Mini, again, at a $34.95 price point, really fits very well into a lot of different applications. Whether it's lecture capture in schools, corporate organizations, whether it's live events, corporate video productions, or even boardrooms and meeting rooms, or houses of worship, the Pro Mini is a great entry-level way of getting your foot in the door and getting those customers hooked on live production and streaming. Talk to us a little bit about some of those lecture capture applications and where that really fits in.
Yeah, and we walked through all of them kind of briefly. As we said at the beginning, the Pro 2 has penetrated most of those, all of those markets actually already.
Yep.
And where it might be a solution for some, was not a full solution for all, certainly not in the large umbrella encompassing all rooms. It might be the right answer for a large conference room or a large auditorium where they got multiple cameras all over the place. They got multiple inputs. They got a sound mixer. But now expanding it to many, many more smaller classrooms, small auditoriums where they just have a set of slides and a camera.
Well, and I'm sure our resellers know better than anybody, the Pearl 2 starting at $63.75.
63, yep.
Is over that $5,000 capital expenditure. Right. Whereas the Pro Mini at $34.95 a lot of times can be signed off on directly within the department.
With a credit card.
With a credit card.
With a credit card.
Point of sale. Get your foot into the door. The Pro Mini, as you mentioned, might be more than enough for the one lab where you have your connection that you're working with that customer.
Or for all the labs. Whereas
then they roll it out everywhere.
Whereas the 2 only went into the main auditorium, The Mini goes across many different rooms.
We've talked before about the educational funnel on the Broadfield webinars, where if you can start with one lab, one classroom, roll that out to several different departments, and then eventually roll it out to the entire school, that's how you get your foot in the door and open up those opportunities for recurring revenue.
And again, whether you're capturing a lecture or a live event, again, Pearl 2 has been used for many large event capture, but now you've got multiple. For one large event, you have multiple breakout rooms, smaller sessions, where again, you got a set of slides and a camera, or maybe a camera on the presenter and a camera on the audience. Those two inputs are plenty. You can again record, and you can hand your client the SD card right at the end of the event.
And what I think is great too about the live event is with the touchscreen on the unit itself and a little bit of setup beforehand, the person who is actually doing the live event or is the talent in front of the event can actually control the feed and the production as well.
Exactly.
Right there in front of them, which also plays into corporate video, of course.
Corporate video, again, within the corporate video, many different applications for the Pro family, from town hall meetings to using it for marketing purposes, streaming product announcements to your social media, a large application in the UX environments. Pearl 2 is great if you're building up racks, if you're building up rooms. Pearl Mini enables you a little briefcase solution. We talked to one UX researcher who's putting together these things, and they go to actual client sites rather than bring the clients to their facility, because the client will behave much more naturally in that particular environment. Mini enables them to do that. Stick in the briefcase and go.
Absolutely. And then houses worship, obviously. One-touch operation, easy layout building, stuff like that. These are the stuff when you're working with volunteers in the house of worship, really helps play in.
And look, the mega churches, the mega synagogues, the mega ones, some of them buy the Pro 2 Twins.
Right. Exactly.
A lot of them don't have any money at all. They're doing it with a cell phone, so this is where the Webcaster X2 really comes in. The Mini now fits in this large number in between. Those who want to do a little bit more than just a Webcaster stream, and those who just can't afford the Pro 2. Again, easy to use, lower price point, and now they can both record and stream simultaneously for their parishioners, for the congregation that wants to watch it live at home or for whatever reason, or maybe wants to watch the service at a later time.
And again, XLR mic inputs with phantom power, these churches are wired for audio. They are wired with microphones. So to be able to bring those into your live production system is a huge selling feature into these markets. So again, the Pearl Mini is expected to ship June 6th. First week of June. We have tons of pre-orders in now, and you said we're already getting close to selling out of that first production run?
From us, and of course our friends at Broadfield, step right up front. They've certainly committed to taking a number of units from that first production run, so reach out to them. They can take great care of you.
And we're expecting and hoping for stocking orders now. The MSRP, again, is $34.95 a piece. Do join us every week. Coming up, we have lots of live production stuff to talk about next week as well with the Sling Studio and Live View Solo. The following week, we're going to be talking about the new Avid Media Composer subscriptions. And then May 17th, we'll be talking about some new tech sales opportunities based around their new premium access software. But I really do appreciate you coming in today to share the Pearl Mini with us. Looking forward to June 6th, where these things hit our loading docks. And for those of you who do want to learn more, don't forget to tune in to Epiphan's own webcast this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Just go to epiphan.com and follow the links to either their Facebook or YouTube channels.
Jim, thank you. Thank
Alex,
you for having me. It was great. And as always, if your dealers need some more training on the Pro family, reach out and we'll be happy to coordinate an interactive online training session. Thanks again. I'm looking forward to continuing this in the relationship and working on many more Pro products and others.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next week at 2 p.m. Thanks for joining us.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers, so call us at 800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.